A few days ago, we went over an article from Polygon with a few nuggets of information regarding the possibility of future communal roles as well as properties for Red Dead Online. And in the video, as well as down in the comments section, I gave you all the opportunity to submit ideas for what you would like to see in the spring 2020 update. So that's what we're going to go over in this video, your ideas for content and whatever you would like to see, which is probably coming, I would say, mid to late March, maybe April-ish, after Outlaw Pass 2 has expired. The deadline for that will be March 10th, so you still have about a month to knock out Outlaw Pass 2 before it's officially reached its deadline. So we still got at least a little over a month before the next update for Red Dead Online. Once again, this is just my speculation based on how the Outlaw Pass system is working in Red Dead Online. Starting things off with GUI, aka Bagman, more clothing items from the third Outlaw Pass. Yeah, I definitely think that with the Outlaw Passes, we see a trend of certain items that will be added going forward, like the horse masks, different camp flag varieties, as well as different clothing items. And a lot of you would like to very much see different clothing items from members of the Vanderlyn gang. So far, we got something for Charles, Sadie, as well as John and Arthur. So it's very possible that in Outlaw Pass 3, we may get some clothing items for our Dutch, Javier, perhaps a few others as well, option-wise from the Vanderlyn gang. Sith Master, you like to see animals. Yes, I think that that's an obvious for a lot of us, and we'll get that out of the way right now. One of the big things that most of the community wants on top of everything else is the game to actually function properly, with animal spawn in lobbies, the camp actually pitching, less disconnects, less infinite loading screen issues, multiple lobby types would be nice, less game crashes, and the ability to actually do your trader business and bounty hunting and the collector as well as the moonshine operations. All those things are probably at the top of most of our lists when it comes to what we'd like to have done to Red Dead Online before or by the spring update. Let's see, next is Mike Murphy survival mode. You know, personally, I would love a survival mode. I enjoyed playing survival mode in the early days of Grand Theft Auto Online. I know that they attempted to do a revival to survival mode recently in Grand Theft Auto Online a few months ago. I felt like it was too little too late, and the newer survival modes just weren't as good. And even though I was excited about the idea of a survival creator for years in Grand Theft Auto Online, I never got around to even playing around with the survival creator when they finally added it to GTA Online a few months back. I heard it was okay. It wasn't anything special. But I guess the time had already come and gone for survivals in GTA Online. But for Red Dead Online, I'm on board with survival modes for Red Dead Online, different locations throughout the map. But I would say that Rockstar needs to learn their lesson. And along with giving us some survival modes with some Rockstar created maps, they should also introduce a survival creator to Red Dead Online as well, along with survival modes. Let's see, Sean, Mexico expansion. Yes, a lot of people are hoping that eventually we will be able to go to Mexico in a future update, whether it's possibly this coming summer, along with the 10th anniversary of Red Dead Redemption 1. A lot of us would like very much for there to be a remake of Red Dead Redemption 1, repackaged as a story DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2, and perhaps even as a Mexico expansion for Red Dead Online. But that's nothing confirmed there. It's just a bunch of hopes and dreams and a little bit of leaked information that may or may not be true. Fighting Usyk. Let's see, I want a taxidermist cabin outside of Strawberry. Oh yeah, the taxidermist cabin. It's one of the, stranger dynamics you can do, where you can go around hunting animals in story mode. And if you collect all the animals, then, well, I'm not going to spoil that. It's just one of those fun side quests that you can do in Red Dead Redemption 2. Unstable Trigger is next. His idea for a spring 2020 update, content-wise, would be legendary hunts, hunt down trophy game, and scenarios that may surprise you. And a lot of players have been wanting legendary animals to be added to Red Dead Online for quite a while now. We have legendary animals in Red Dead Redemption 2. We had them in Red Dead Redemption 1. And I don't know if they would be called legendary animals in Red Dead Online, but it would be cool if they would have dynamics that would spawn throughout the map where you could go after like a legendary bull moose, a legendary bull gator, a legendary bison, beaver, cougar, panther. You get the idea. So I too would very much like for them to add some dynamic legendary hunts in Red Dead Online, whatever they end up calling it. Let's see, Vision X, an outlaw versus lawman update. Now this is one of the role ideas that has been up here in my old brain bouncing around for a few months now. And it's something we've talked about numerous times on live streams, how this duality of a role where you would introduce the outlaw lawman role at the same time, because it does feel like two sides of the same coin, and it would be something fun to do, and you could go either way with it. You could go the way of the lawman if you want to be more honorable, or you could go the way of the outlaw if you want to be more dishonorable. But a lot of people have also made the point that there were dishonorable lawmen in the West, just like there's corrupt cops today. And, you know, there probably were outlaws that were actually good men and women, but they were outlaws for interesting reasons, you know, because you know how it goes. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be completely black and white when it comes to the outlaw versus lawman role. There could be a lot of gray area. Like, you could be a white hat outlaw or a black hat lawman. It could go either way. There's been plenty of Westerns that pits kind of like that reversal where the outlaw is actually the good guy and the bad guy's the sheriff or the marshal. I mean, traditionally it's the other way around, obviously, but sometimes they do like to do a little 180. So that is definitely an interesting idea for a future role in Red Dead Online. Thanks for the suggestion, Vision. Next, let's go to Marcus. I would like an actor role that would make use of the emotes more. I still can't believe some of you actually spend money in gold on emotes. But hey, it's your money, it's your gold. Let's see, it would be a different type of clothing styles. It would be interesting if we could write our own plays that could be used in a different role. I don't know if they're going to go that like specific, but an actor role would be interesting. I mean, I guess you could take advantage of the different theaters that are in the game, like the one specifically in Saint Denis. And maybe it's some like quick time events, like you have to do like certain choreographed dance numbers or whatnot. But, you know, it's an interesting idea to flesh out a little bit more a potential actor role. There's so many different ideas that Rockstar could go with when it comes to future roles in Red Dead Online. And the more ideas, the merrier. Let's see, Toast Track Man. One role that I'd like to see is the stagecoach role. See, taxing fares to various destinations while fighting up bandits along the way, with the added opportunity of owning my own stagecoach and add a vehicle collection. So it'd be kind of like, I guess, a taxi service where you would be hired to conduct like short and long distance transports and escorts for like VIPs, very important NPCs. You know, getting one from, let's just say, Saint Denis to Blackwater. And along the way, some stuff may happen. Maybe they're an important person. Maybe they're on the run from the law, are criminals, and maybe they're under protection. And maybe you could also have the ability as a stagecoach driver to like get a stagecoach like you're talking about, upgrade it, customize it. Because a lot of us would like the ability to customize our wagons. And eventually maybe you could also be hired by players to do like stagecoach escorts. That'd be kind of an interesting idea as well. Next, let's go to Tim. Mountain climbing would work, in my opinion, seeing how unreachable areas in the mountains have no way to go to. And yeah, there's a few mountains in the game, like Mount Shan, Mount Hagen. And if we had like the ability to get like mountain climbing gear, or at least, I guess, time period appropriate mountain climbing gear, because I know that they've been climbing mountains forever. And that would be another activity that you could do in Red Dead Online. And you'd probably, like with the actor role, you'd have to flesh it out a little bit more. But it's still interesting. And with these roles, like, to some, they may not really care for the role. But if you were to package it together similar to the Frontier Pursuits, with one or two other roles, then it wouldn't be so bad because there would be almost something for everybody. An actor role, a mountain climbing role, a stagecoach driver role. That would be pretty sweet. Let's see, Demon Zorro. Hello, Demon. It would be cool if we could have something like guild rooms where posse leaders could assign rooms to posse members when posse leader is not a crewmates. There's something similar to that, Demon Zorro. I don't know if you play Grand Theft Auto Online, but we do have a MC clubhouses in Grand Theft Auto Online for the bikers, and you have the ability while you have a biker crew formed, an MC, to where you can have yourself as the president, and then you can have a vice president, a sergeant at arms, an enforcer, etc. And while that crew is active, if you go inside your biker crew clubhouse, then you have like some photos on the wall that they're temporary, but it's an interesting idea. And you mentioned something during the live stream Sunday about like horse guilds. So, I mean, guilds is definitely an interesting idea. One of many for Rockstar to consider for future content in Red Dead Online. Let's see, Mike, it would be cool to add a horse rustling role to deal with the two Davies brothers like we did at the beginning of Online. Like I mentioned before, I said it again, exterminator role to eliminate all bugs once and for all. Yeah, I think there's always going to be bugs in Red Dead Online no matter what. But, we've been promised that the Davies brothers are working on something, even from the very beginning when we all do the tutorial, and some of us, that was over a year ago. So obviously Rockstar has a plan for the Davies brothers. Hopefully the means for us to actually sell horses we no longer want that we've purchased instead of simply discarding them. Also, like we've talked about a few times, the ability to break in horses, wild horses, and sell those to the Davies brothers, and perhaps even steal horses from NPCs and sell those to the Davies brothers. And depending on the horse breed and how you acquire the horse would depend on how much the Davies brothers end up paying you. So wild horses would usually earn you a little bit more money than, say, an NPC horse that's already domesticated. But, depending on the breed would also factor into how much you'll be getting in return from the Davies brothers. Appreciate the ideas, Mike. Moving on now to Will. If we could now own saloons, I guess the Moonshine Saloon counts as a saloon. I want to be a gambler, and I'm moving around running your own or a house game, including all the shenanigans you could get into, jealous husbands or wives, sore losers, and the law, as always, one eye behind. Cattle drives would be cool. Maybe a blacksmith, leather worker, saddle stack, etc., riverboat owner, a miner. Since I live in a gold mining country, let's see, a gunsmith. A year ago, this game was completely different. I expect a game a year from now to be completely different as well. Yes, some of those roles are possible. Others, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to be a gunsmith since we already have gunsmiths in the game. But a miner or having our own riverboats would be cool. And nothing wrong with a gambler role. I mean, I would be interested in that as well, especially if they end up adding blackjack to the game, as well as high-stakes poker tables or no-limit poker. That would be really, really fun because, to be honest, sometimes it gets a little boring only playing for like $5 a pot. Let's see, JM. Let's see, I would like to see a brawler role. It's like the bounty hunter role, but you have to brawl with the target. You can't use guns. I think that would be cool. Or maybe like a fight club role, or like a fighting role. Because, I mean, they did have fighting back in the day. I mean, there is a mission during Red Dead Redemption 2, without spoiling anything, where there is a bit of a fight happening, a boxing match. And as most of you should know, that's nothing new throughout human history. We've been doing that for quite a while. Next, let's go to Paul. Would like some sort of dinosaur collecting. Well, I mean, there is dinosaur collecting as side quests in story mode. Maybe they could use the same character that you encounter in story mode, and you could go collect dinosaur bones for her, and she would pay you for the dinosaur bones. Next, to Forrest Smith, I want them to make a DLC with houses. Of course, a lot of us would love to have the ability to own property, eventually actual property, where we have a bed, wardrobe, lockbox, all the other stuff. And a Native American update would be good as well, something we've been talking a lot about. A Native American update, especially with the Wapiti Reservation sitting up there. I feel like the Wapiti tribe would already be up there at this timeline, even though Red Dead Online takes place, a year or two prior to the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. I think the Wapiti tribe would still be up there. So I think that would make sense as a future role, adding the characters we encounter like Rainsfall, Eager Flies, as well as Peta, Captain Monroe, a few others. Even some businesses up there like a butcher, as well as, say, a medicine man or medicine woman serving as a third doctor in the map, and some other stuff as well. Maybe the ability to add war paint to your character and to your horse, customize your bow. A lot of people have been wanting the ability to customize your bow. So, I mean, these are some good ideas that could involve a Native American Wapiti-themed update, as well as maybe different Land of Opportunity, like story missions revolved around the Wapiti tribe. Or, stranger missions, where like Rainsfall would be honorable, like Eagle Flies would be dishonorable. I think most of you get the idea. So, yeah, DeForest Smith, a lot of us would also very much like to see a Wapiti-themed update somewhere down the road. Stone Cold, outlaw role with hideouts, properties you can buy, start out robbing travelers, shops, post office, multiple heists, first heist in GTA with setup missions. Yeah, I think we're eventually going to get heists in Red Dead Online. It's only a matter of time. And we've talked about this numerous times, like a ability to start at like a small bank robbery, then eventually a larger bank robbery, and like you mentioned, holding up a stagecoach caravan, robbing trains, robbing a riverboat. So, yeah, I mean, I would see that as its own separate update. Red Dead Online Heist, especially with the way they have done heists. They've gotten better at making heists. Like, for example, the casino heist has a lot of replayability to it now compared to previous heists. So, yeah, I think they would do a great job with a future heist role for Red Dead Online. I don't know if that'll end up being a spring update. That'd be an awesome spring update, in my humble opinion. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but it's definitely a really great idea. And also, once again, I love the idea of a outlaw versus lawman type role update as well. I don't know if they would be separate roles or would they be the same role, but like two sides of the same coin. Maybe they would just simply be two separate roles. They feel so similar that they would both fall in the, I guess, the bounty hunter branch. And I guess that's how it would work. Is like bounty hunter, then you would like have, like outlaw, then lawman. And like I mentioned a moment ago, you could be a white hat outlaw and a black hat lawman. You could go either way. There's a lot of gray area there. Thanks again for all the ideas regarding content that we would like to see in spring 2020, potentially, or in a future update. I don't know if we're going to get any of that in the next update, hopefully coming sometime mid to late March, early April. But it's still great ideas, for the most part, and some interesting things that people would like to see eventually added role-wise to the game. And I also hope, like many of you, that by the spring update at the latest, we will have major issues in the game finally fixed and resolved, and maybe even some different lobby types that we've been asking for quite a while now. Personally, I hope that the new roles they add are good and there's replayability and there's a lot of incentive to do the roles that will be coming up. And I hope that is actually is roles plural and not just one singular role, because I feel like even though the Moonshiner role is okay, I don't think that it was good enough to stand on its own. And I think the formula that Rockstar had with the Frontier Pursuits update is good enough to work forward with future roles. Like, for example, packaging an update with 2 or 3 different roles would work, because then you would have something to cater to almost everybody, and everybody would have the means to eventually master all 2 or all 3 of the new roles that Rockstar ends up adding. And I realize that may not be the formula that they plan on doing going forward, but only time will tell. But along with some new exciting roles to Red Dead Online for the spring update, I want an awesome Outlaw Pass 3, as well as probably more stall space in our stable, since a lot of you have already maxed it out to 10. Hopefully they'll up that to 15. And if they have no intention of us having the ability to sell our personal horses that we've purchased to the Davies twins, at the very least they could take advantage of the benefits page with the coupons. And every time we sell one of our horses, we end up automatically getting a 30% or 40% discount towards our next horse purchase that's the least that Rockstar could do to compensate us for the horses that we have bought, so that we're not completely throwing horses away by discarding them. Some new clothing, new hats, a new weapon perhaps, new horse breed, probably tie into the roles as usual, and even a new property, an actual personal private property, not like the Moonshine Shack, but just a place that we can call home besides the camp, even if it's just an apartment size where we have our own bed, the ability to take a bath like some of you want, the ability to also have a wardrobe, lockbox similar to the camp lockbox, weapons locker, as well as perhaps even a fast travel map would be awesome. So yeah, it would be nice to have the ability to finally purchase our own actual residence, our own property that we can go chill out besides the camp. And maybe, just maybe, we could have a table inside the property where we could, play poker with friends, invite them over to play poker, or dominoes, or blackjack, or liar's dice. That would be kind of fun as well. Anyways, those are some of the ideas, including mine, regarding stuff we'd like to see in a Spring 2020 update, our future update in the game. And if there's any additional roles or ideas that you would like to see in by the spring, late March, April-ish, what would you like to have included as part of a Spring 2020 update if Rockstar came to you and gave you a wish, and anything you wish for would end up being part of that hypothetical spring update? As always, your ideas welcome below in the comments section.